Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tanks Invest, where we talk about investing, finance, and professional. For today's attempts only, the investment we're going to talk today will be Ethereum ETH. First, I want to say happy Monday, everybody. Hope a great week so far, and a great weekend, by the way. Respective recording time of 2:41 p.m. on Eastern Time. Ethereum can trade $4,208, about 0.16% so far. As you can see clearly on the equity market, it seems like we're rebounding. With respect to Dow Jones, up about 2.03%. Nasdaq's down up about 1.11%, while S&P 500 also up about 1.40% so far. And on the crypto market side, it seems like collectively we are leaning either more of a bullish sentiment among the altcoin, but on the key coins, it's kind of flat at the moment right now. With respect to Bitcoin, it's currently down about 0.55%, while Ethereum is kind of flat, up about 0.04% so far. And collectively speaking, I would say the news are, relatively neutral today. Some negative news that percolated, more around like the hacking activities that we've seen, with respect to Bitmart, sorry, that took about $150 million that was stolen earlier this week. So another unfortunate event that seems like is happening again. Let's just go through them chronologically, shall we? So the first one's on Bazinga about 39 minutes ago, talk about CryptoPunk NFT sold for 126 Ethereum. And this guy's in like 3D goggles with obviously like one side's blue, one side's red. It's in like this type of like brick color background with like a detective hat on. And sold for 126 Ethereum. I almost said $126 million. That'd be insane, right? The next one's on CNBC about 43 minutes ago. Talk about 7 crypto updates that you should know based on the recent Bitcoin volatility, which we have talked about recently, right? So just to go through them with respect to the list, the first one's on regarding Metaverse. Land sales top $100 million in a week, right? Another one that is on the list would be Jack Dorsey's Square changed corporate name to Block. Big difference, huh? From Square to Block. The other one would be with respect to Facebook retreats from crypto ad ban. Seems like there are some activities around crypto within Silicon Valley recently. And then the other one is talking about DeFi projects called Badger DAO hacked, losing about $120 million that we talked about early last week. And then this recent one is with respect to Bitmart, which we already mentioned, with respect to losing about $196 million from this hack incident. So absolutely terrible, right? And then the next one's on about Charlie Munger, which is obviously Warren Buffett's best friend. He says that he wishes cryptocurrency has never been invented because it's obviously making a stir into the financial market, right? So I mean, he is a legendary investor. Obviously, we'll take his point of view with a grain of salt. But he did talk a little bit about like his point of view, why it's counterintuitive, and what are some negative implementations that we need to understand going forward, etc., etc. So, I mean, again, right? We listen, but we listen with an adjusted, logical mindset. And the other one that's not really relevant to crypto, but is with respect to OpenSea's hires the CFO, the former CFO of Lyft, right? And OpenSeas is an open market, one of the largest for NFT marketplace, and is currently valued about $1.5 billion. In case you guys are not aware of it, so it seems like they probably are prepping for an IPO, and that's why they're hiring a CFO that have experience, taking Lyft, which is a ride-hailing company, public historically, right? So. And then other news that I'm seeing here as well, another regurgitation news talk about on CNN about 1 hour ago, talk about crypto exchange Bitmart, says hacker took $150 million, right? Seems like there are some inconsistencies with respect to the numbers. Like some websites is saying 200, some websites saying 195, some websites saying 150. But anyway, still a lot of money that's gone and wiped out for no reason, right? The next one is talk about with respect to CNBC. Seems like they are implementing a stock index that would track shares integral to lives and careers of younger generations. Interesting. It seems like they are basically putting stocks that are the most popular among millennials and younger generations into a collective index that tracks how is it performing on their specific stock index charts that they laid out in their website. So I look forward to seeing that. It seems like they have their own list that they have consolidated, and I look forward to seeing how that's trending. But some of the stocks that I see in this article includes like Tesla, which is obviously the darling stocks among young investors, Airbnb, Netflix. Obviously, they also include some Coinbase. Obviously, makes sense. Even Bitcoin, for some reason, that's like kind of a inconsistent index. I would say some are like more, obviously commodities. Some are equity. Some are, so it's not like true apples to apple. But I guess it makes sense to lump them all together. But anyways, is their preference, is their their index, so they could literally put any index they want, right? We can make index too. We just basically consolidate all the stocks into one index, aka your personal index, and they could reflect that how it's trending so far based on the buying appetites among younger investors, if you may, right? And that's pretty much on the news front. So let's just dive into the technicals right now with respect to the current time of 2:47 p.m. on the Eastern time. Ethereum currently $4,204, up about 0.08% so far. As you can see clearly, we are reviving a little bit. Seems like the sell-off is kind of subsided a little bit, right? No more of the negative pressure that we've experienced during this weekend. So today is more of a normalization day because of the fact that the news came out early this morning around the COVID variants, the Omicron news. Seems like it's subsiding a little bit. And at least on the media front, obviously there's still some tactical implementations that they need to work on, right? The government needs to collaborate with the scientists on listing out what are the tactical next steps going forward. Are we gonna get a vaccine soon? Are we gonna release this booster shots after the FDA approval? What's the timeline going forward? How's that gonna triangulate with the job numbers? And how does that affect the bond yields and the quantitative tapering? So a lot to hear, and we will see a couple of days ahead, and also the end of this week is the CPI report that's coming out. So that's another mixture into the relatively murky soup that we're making, right? And then also next week on 14th and 15th would be the FOMC meeting, which we'll hear from Jerome himself what's the plan going forward, right? And so it seems like we are seeing some optimism right now based on just the media front. But again, right, we're still within that fear stage in terms of the media affectation reflecting into the price level right now, right? So right now we are just sustaining above the 4,000 mark, right? Technically the 4,150 mark, but we broke through above the 4,150 and currently above that level at 4,200. So this is a good sign. We'll see how that goes. It seems like the respect to the cup and handle, which you see clearly the cup, right? And then the handle is something we're forming right now, right? So contingent on this chart being, coming through together, that this is still the cup and handle chart and is holding the pattern, we should technically see a surge coming, right? And I think the next level technically should be somewhere around 5,000 as a first level. But I think we're going to break through that 5,000 and go straight into possibly even 6,500 per the resistance level that will ideally break to, right? Do we see 12,000? That will be very weird because that will completely destroy the chart in all outliers, and I don't really see any specific catalyst that can drive such a high surge. So we see how that goes, because ultimately on the 10th, 14th, and 15th are still going to be relatively macro catalysts, right, on driving some pressure onto equity, and see how that triangulate and anti-correlate to the crypto, right? So with respect to Bitcoin right now, we are reversing and try to sustain above the 47,800 level. So we see how that goes, right? Right now with the 31 out of 70, we still oversold. So I think ideally buying the dip right now is not terrible, right? But whoever got in when we were below 47, when we were below 43, absolutely that was a golden opportunity, right? And it was the dip because we were extremely oversold at that point, way below 30. We were like probably at the 24, 23 on an RSI scale. So that was the logical dip for us, right? Respect to Dogecoin right now, the 1750. So the current level is not terrible, but it's not the best in comparisons to when we were 13, right? But again, right, we're still oversold despite the sell-off that we have had. So right now is not a terrible level to incur some dip because we are above to the next resistance level. I mean, not like a very substantive one, but we are very oversold and we are on the cusp of reversing right now. So I think this is not a terrible dip, to be honest. Respect to Cardano is at 134 right now. Basically testing the current resistance level, right? If we break this current level, we're gonna go down to 120. That's just a matter of fact, right? You could see how we tried to get there, but we immediately got bought up. So Cardano, I think the bottom is pretty much it right now. Anywhere from 134 to 120 is still the dip, right? Solana is at 188, down about 1.15% at 41 out of 70. So ideally, somewhere around like the 154 would be the first level. 133 to 113 is still the dip for us. XRP is at 79, so 80 right now. So we are below the 78, which is the next resistance level. So anywhere from like the current level, you know, dip, buying at somewhere around like 78, which is the dip, right? We're basically above the consolidation zone. But if we break that, we're gonna go to 69, which we got way below to actually to the 57, right? Almost at the 60, right? So right now it's not a terrible level to incur risk. We are very oversold right now, so not a bad level to incur some risk. Polkadot is down about 2.16%. At the moment right now, we're basically hovering around the consolidation level, right? So with respect to the current level, it's not terrible, right? I think, anywhere from the current level to the 23, 23, 27 would be relatively good. We are at the 26 out of 70, so we're very oversold. So Polkadot is actually a dip right now. Algorand is up about 0.41, so it's kind of flat right now, 46 out of 70. So ideally, again, right, anywhere from like the 150 to 160 is still the dip. I think 135 was just extreme overreaction. Whoever got in, congrats. You guys are making a killing right now. So again, right, 157 was really the bottom, right? 155, like what to 160 is still the dip for us, right? Shiba Inu at the down about 2.10% with the 40 out of 70. So ideally, anywhere from the high 2800 all the way to 900 is still the dip for us, right? MagTech's reversing right now, try to sustain. We're still overbought right now. At the 60 out of 70 seems like reversing. Because we bounce off of this 175, right? But again, we're very overbought right now, so I would still wait until 175 to 143 from here. AVAX is up about 5.30% right now. We are at the 43. So again, right, 81 was the dip, right? So right now we're reversing because the overall market is kind of reversing because of seems like the news around COVID variants subsiding a little bit. So anywhere from 81 to 59.97 or 60 technically is still the dip for us, right? In respect to risk management level, these are levels to dollar cost average at. Again, right, these are the levels, based on my conservatism as we deplete on RSI scale below 35 or 30. As we form that preliminary golden cross, right? This is like when discount prices show up in your in terms of dollar cost averaging, right? So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if you have any specific questions, and let me know if there's any other ways I've been helpful to you. In respect to the Patreon thing, I'm going to spend some time this week to work on it. I know I hit 5K subscribers, so really appreciate the love and support that I get on a daily basis. Your friendship is extremely important to me, and I will not disappoint. I want to make something that's substantive, that's something that's easily digestible, user-friendly, obviously, and something that's intuitive to people that you could use as your reference, right? That you could, because for me to, be productive, I also need to make sure that it's something I would personally use, right? It's not something that I would just like stuff it down your throat. I want to make sure that this is something you get to learn from, but also something that you could use without like having to go through and try to think through, right? Because I realize a lot of textbooks in America or in the world globally, written by a lot of scholars are not the most easily digestible materials, right? And I want to make sure that the material that I provide is intuitive, thoughtful, and substantive that you could use for a long time, right? And that's the mantra of my proposition to you guys. And I really love the trust and the belief that you've given me, and especially your friendship. All right, that's it with my rambling. Stay tuned for us to come up. Take care. Bye.